everyone, welcome back. So here we are entering week 2 of Voyage 17, and it's starting with 7,100, and it's on a Citibank card. Then joining us this week is 2 seahorses. And then once again, our weather is cold and kind of crazy, because yesterday it was, actually no, the day before was warm, and then it got cold again. And then there was talk of more snow, possible rain, but then that never materialized. So we'll see what the weather decides to do, but we will jump into what the numbers are up to, because at least the numbers are a bit predictable compared to the weather. So we start off with a deposit into checking for $1,147.82. $147.82 was sent to savings, and then the $1,000 was for the savings payback. So for the savings, we start off with $585.21. We then have that $147.82 of payroll. We have 12 cents of dividends that went in. We returned the $80 we weren't using from last week's finances. And then we rounded some money to $10.70. I think we did even dollar amounts, and anyway, we put the extra back into savings, making it $823.85. And then as far as the savings payback, that is broke down to the bills, the mortgage, Old American Express, and that last Discover one. So $920 went to the bills, $20 to the mortgage, $10 to Old American Express, and then $50 to Discover one. So that's the $1,000 that we paid ourselves back. And so this shows that we were at $823.85. We added the $1,000, and then we're at $1,823.85. Then once again, we took money out to pay for the bills. And those items, mortgage for $782, car insurance for $156, and then we have $50 to send to Voyage 17, meaning we should probably have $12 to put back into savings after these items clear that checking account. So then with that checking account, we had a $50 buffer, we had the $1,000 payroll, and then we broke it down to $988 in bills and $12 for the savings return. So that means we will be back to $50 once everything clears through that checking. And then for Voyage 17, it's due on April 1st, and it's to avoid the 27.24% that it would bump up to. So the first week, February 20th, we send $100, and then the second week for February 27th, we were able to send $50. So we're at $6,950 still owed on that balance transfer. And then I went ahead and just kind of updated the same sheet I used last time. So the February 20th, we did the 100, so we're at 7,000. Then I updated, we were planning, not exactly planning, but we had figured out if we could do 1,400 a week, we would have it accomplished. But this week, since we had the mortgage and the car insurance, we had 50 available to send. So then that brings the total for the next 4 weeks at $1,737.50. So we'll see how that all plays out as the next 4 weeks go by. So then the captain's log, we still owe $6,950 on that balance transfer. And now we've paid a total of $78,084.25 in all the debts combined. And then for that Citibank, it had a limit of $10,500. Currently a balance of $6,950, so available right now is $3,550. For monthly bills, we did pay the mortgage for $782, car insurance for $156. We did $50 to the Citibank, and then loan 1 got a payment for $191.28. Line of credit 1 for $119.21, line of credit 2 for $123.65, and line of credit 3 for $124.37. And then we have some updates on some of that. We did make the mortgage payment just today, since the first was on Sunday. Today's the second, so it will be a couple days for that updates. And then we did and 100% likely that 465.53 will be the same amount for escrow. On loan number 1, there was, of the payment, 35.72 went to interest, 155.56 went to principal, and then we ended with a balance of $7,747.24. The student loans will get a payment on the 7th, and I think that falls on a Saturday or Sunday, so it's going to be the following business days on that, so we won't have an immediate update on that one either. With line of credit 1, there was interest of $68.21. The principal was $51, and that ended with a balance of $11,804.36. Line of credit 2, interest was $63.39. Principal was $60.26, and that ended with the balance of $12,199.09. Line of credit 3, $71.03 is the interest, $53.34 is principal, and that's ending in a balance of $12,292.75. And then with these lines of credit, like I said, I have it through a credit union, and they're kind of changing up on how they are doing some of these loans and lines. So right now, like I said, it's due on the 1st of every month, and it does not advance. So I have to make sure I'm careful and have money in the accounts for the payments on the 1st of each month, because that's when all 3 of them are scheduled, plus that loan 1. So we'll see how that all works out, because they're doing some more changes that they had notified us about. So we'll see how that all turns out. And then I didn't do anything for the small bills this week. The overdraft is still at $233.21, and the furnace is still at $300. And then for the code word today, we'll use the color yellow. And if you've gotten this far into the video, you'd go ahead and put the word yellow into the comments. And so far I don't have too much in my March calendar filled out. I just had the items I paid off so far in the car insurance. And I do need to get ahead on getting my calendar figured out. That way it makes it much easier to figure out the bills and when they're due. And then we have 4 Fridays this month, so we'll have, like I said, 4 weeks to work on that one credit card. So, and I think we just had a payroll what I do is there's actually bi-weekly, and I break it into weekly because that's much easier to figure out. And don't know that there's any bonuses coming due or anything like that. But anyway, we'll see how this month works itself out. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Please like and subscribe to follow my debt journey. And I'll talk to you in the next video. Thank you for joining me. Bye.